So everything balances out in the universe. So as shitty a day as Apple crammed into my face today, ruining months of work, I get a visit from an old friend, have fun sim racing. My granddaughter comes in here and plops herself on this pillow and tells me how much she loves me and gives me hugs. And the world is all okay. It tends to balance out the things that are important for self-happiness. Now, the world, the world, that's a little bit of a different matter in the world. Things don't always balance out in the real world. It frustrates anyone with any common sense that doesn't bear animus towards anyone else, understands right from wrong. You know, there comes an age when you know when you stole that candy bar it was wrong. You know what I mean? That's not like the 3-year-old who's got chocolate all over his face and swears he didn't eat that cupcake. He'll look you straight in the eye and tell you, nope, I didn't do it. There's parts of that humans never lose, and they figure if they lie enough, long enough, that people will believe them. And that person is real easy to pick out of a crowd. The Putins, the Trumps, the Xis, the people who they truly think that they're the only ones who can do what they're doing, that no one else is capable. They truly believe that they're superior in so many ways to anyone else. When in reality, when you look at the track records of these people, they're abysmal. You know what I mean? They're not really good at much. I mean, they can fake it real good, as long as you can prop things up. You know what I mean, with pretty paint jobs on them and make them look good. But I mean, that only lasts so long. And now we see the reckoning coming for all three of them. Xi, China's is fucked. China's fucked. So, you know, these people with Evergrande who lost their money, I feel for them. Those people got taken for a ride, not just by Evergrande, okay, but by the Communist Party. And see, when I say things like this, I always worry about friends that live in China. They're going to build these apartment buildings, and you pre-buy this apartment building before it's even built. They start construction, they run out of money, and you're fucked. And then you have to understand, if you have any education about what's really in China, is you know that there are ghost cities where the only people are like the street sweepers, the people keeping the streets clean, so it doesn't look like a fucking apocalyptic movie or something. Isn't that weird? Lots of them. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 50 of these things. They're complete fucking cities that they expected the country folk to come and just become, you know, modern Chinese productive workers. And it turned out that people were happy without that. And these cities are fucking empty. And so how the hell does Evergrande sell apartments that aren't built? Location, 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 right? Is that what it is? It must be. It's not like they built these cities in the middle of fucking nowhere. If you don't know about the Chinese ghost cities, look it up. It's fucking crazy. So how could these people fall for that? So now they've got this runaway inflation. All of the young people are unemployed. They spent too much money on their defense budget. They have rampant corruption, and the only friends they seem to be able to scavenge up are the fucking enemies of the world. They understand exactly where they're a superpower that isn't super. They're just a power, and they know that. Kim Jong-un, he's going to kick over of a heart attack. His habits, his lifestyle habits, and the way he looks, to me, it looks like he's headed for a quick end. He's not going to last another 5 years. So But gee, he could go on. You know, when they make them, I'm president for life, that's what Donald Trump wanted. Everyone thinks that's not true. It is true. Okay, look at Netanyahu. What I mean, same kind of thing. Complete, total fucking criminal. And the rational people in Israel are done with the what hasn't worked. And yet you got, you know, him and his cronies seem to be able to wrest power from the people every single time. And he gets the backing of these far right, you know, far right Jews. And it's, you notice a similarity, right, with the United States or anywhere else. Because why? Because people are the fucking same everywhere. The Zulu warrior who's out there with his animals and has his fucking cell phone, he wants and needs and desires the exact same things you do. They're just different because his culture's different. That's all. Everybody wants the same thing. Everybody's the same everywhere. Sooner, you know, I wish everyone understood that it, you know, prejudice is xenophobia against culture, and no culture that's a culture that's unlike yours, you know what I mean, isn't acceptable. Yeah. You know, the happy moments I get are worth all of the pain and suffering and then some I have to understand. I wish I could wake up and not understand. I wish I could wake up and have rose-colored glasses on. That I could wake up and not understand the intricacies of man's evil. You know, his man's trespasses against man, you know. I'd be incredibly fucking happy. Trouble is, I can't. I have a job to do, and that's to come here and fucking bitch and wank about the realities of the fucking world, whether people want to hear it or not. But at least you know that someone else understands it like you do. You know? Yeah, I get it. You know, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, what the fuck? I think you are a healthy individual. Healthy. The animal is not, is, you know, controls a lot of people, billionaires especially. I don't care how nice they seem, okay? A billionaire who says, I'm going to give you all my money when I die. Yeah, because it's not going to do you any good while you're dead. Why'd you fucking wait till you died, dumbass? You could have been, you could have been one of the world's most loved human beings by taking that money and distributing it to the people who need it, and not groups and organizations that are going to fucking put that shit in accounts and live off the interest and dribble that shit out. That's what happens. The philanthropic fucking world sucks. All of them. This is what I tell people. If you want to make yourself feel better, you might make a contribution, right? It's American Red Cross right now because of what's going on in the Middle East. And in the United States, at Children's Hospital, St. Jude's, or Shriners. So take care of the children. That's the thing. That's what gets me about the Middle East is the kids. Okay. Having my granddaughter here, I'm just got all the love in the world right there. And what I'm thinking about is that poor guy who lost his great granddaughter in this senseless fucking violence. That's what I think about. I wish I could escape that. I'm just not lucky enough to have reality not be forefront constantly with me. It is hard sometimes, right? But it's what I'm supposed to do. I can live with it, no fucking problem, because I get to turn the truth into electromagnetic waves, send them out into the universe so that that opinion was known. That killing was wrong, that I thought war was wrong, and that the reasons for war were the fallacies of men, and nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Okay? It's not nation against nation. It doesn't happen that way. Very rarely does it happen that way, especially in the last 200 years, okay? Maybe 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago, tribes But even that's showing, the archaeology shows that they got along, that they traded, that they met in vast groups and shit. It's this modern shit, power, money, greed, power, and they can reach more people, more susceptible people through this medium. So I'm here to balance it out and say that those people are fucked up. Hamas is fucked up. The right-wing Israelis are fucked up. But they're teaching the next generation to hate both of them. Okay? And the hard right Israelis are not all Israelis. And Palestinians aren't Hamas. So, I mean, yeah, I'm glad that I get the balance. I'm a very lucky person in my life. I have no needs. I have no needs other than honest friends, a family that loves me, and, a body that'll just seems to keep ticking, It's as bad as its shape it's in, it keeps going. Hey, I couldn't be happier. When I get a letter from someone saying that I was thinking about taking my life, and then I started watching your videos, and I started studying what you said about microtubules and Sir Roger Penrose and Hameroff's work. And because this person was incredibly intelligent, and they saw no wave to an existence after this one. They didn't, because they knew religion was bullshit. They despised religion like me, but they had never contemplated the facts that this reality almost begs to have another dimension where we go. As soon as you start looking at microtubules and Hameroff and Penrose's work, you start to understand that there's more than enough machinery here to not just run us biologically, okay, but to also store data biologically. Not just neurons, because we have more tubulin in our body than we have neurons in our brains. So, yeah, that was so nice. And her mom comes down and says, "Come on, it's time to go to bed." She waves her off. "I'm staying here with Papa." That's just so awesome. Nothing better in life. You can't buy that. You know what I mean? There's no price you can put on that. I wonder about people that name their kids Ziley, Ziki, Zach, or whatever the fuck it is. I can't even spell it. When people do that, it makes you wonder. Listen, 30 years from now, this person, they're going to be a person, and they're going to have to live with that. It's, just self-interest, you know what I mean? Right? And Musk, I can tell you, he's one fertile guy, man. He pumps those kids out, you know what I mean? But I don't see him as a family man at all. I've seen him with certain kids, but I've never seen him as a family man at all. I don't relate to him in that way whatsoever, and that's kind of sad. It is. Okay. So, prayers for the Palestinians and the moderate Jews who they don't want this violence. You can see them protesting too. People, they don't look at what actually happens. Okay, there was great protest against Netanyahu and his fucking new policies and shit. There are Israelis that are tired of this thing with Palestinians. But I watched a show once where this reporter was doing a story in Israel. They were driving, and she made a point to the cameraman that was back there with her when the driver, they were going to pick up another passenger, and they said, "You can go ahead and pick him up." And he said, "No, and they had a derogatory name for a Palestinian, and just drove right by him. See? It's prejudice. It's no different than some fucking redneck driving past a black person. They have the exact same feelings. They're not any different. Crying shame. It's crying shame. Prayers, okay? It does help. If everybody in the world had a positive frame of mind on any given single one day, the world would change. There's just no person who can do that because of the cacophony that goes on, the gigantic in your face from every direction opinion and shit. And you know, some people don't have the wherewithal to handle all that information, and they end up just listening to people that say what they want to hear. And that's a downward path.